in baseball. Meanwhile, Week 4, Packers and Cowboys, a.k.a. the Micah Parsons Bowl, ended in a 40-40 tie, the second highest scoring tie in NFL history. Dak Prescott and the Dallas offense was good. However, the defense once again letting them down in the second half and overtime. Green Bay scoring on all 5 possessions. However, despite that, Jerry Jones was somehow still proud of his new Micah-less defense. Listen.
There is help on the way on defense. More importantly, if you felt it, even though they scored 40 points, our defense improved as that game went along right before your eyes. And we did make some stops.
No. Can I have your glasses?
Yeah.
Because my eyes are not seeing the same things, bro. I mean, what is happening here?
The Packers scored on every one of their drives after halftime.
This team has been an absolute big play, explosive play sieve all season long to this point. They play a very simplistic scheme when you're talking about zone and man principles. The secondary doesn't communicate with one another very much. They are not very athletic at linebacker. I'm assuming he's talking about helpless on the way, meaning my guy DeMarvion Overshown is going to be returning to the field, which they need desperately. Because I don't know where the improvement came from that he's talking about late in that football game, but you're right. Jordan Love had his way with them.
So I'm sorry.
I'm just trying to find the words to say.
He said they got some stops. That's like factually inaccurate because they got 0 stops.
Right.
He did say that they got better, and there are ways to get better while still looking bad because at least people weren't running with 10 yards of space as they were against the Giants the week before. So they got a little bit better in that case, but this is not a defense that you can win with. And we saw a case in point on that weekend because the way that Dak and that offense is playing.
Someone brought up a comparison this morning in our meeting. Someone brought up a comparison to Joe Burrow's season last year. Dak may not set the records. I mean, Joe Burrow led the league in passing yards and everything last season, and the defense was so bad that they missed out on the playoffs. Maybe Dak isn't having quite that, but it's not that far off. Is there a comparison to be made there, Kmart, about what happened last year?
For how much we're seeing how vital Dak is to this team and this offense, because take Dak off of this roster, what are you looking at? Because right now, what are they? Their defense is giving up over 400 yards a game. Their offense, they got the best offense in the NFL, and they got the worst defense in the NFL. Unfortunately, to me, Jerry kind of reminds me of, it's almost like he's trying to set this up like he won the breakup between him and Micah. And it's like, now he's talking about we got better as it went on. It's almost like the guy breaks up with his girl, and I was posting the new girl on social, look, I don't even miss that old thing. We see right through you.
But your new girl ugly.
Thank you. Thank you.
For real. Your new girl giving up 420 a game.
There was no new girl. He did seem after the game, he acted like they won when they tied. And he acted like Micah Parsons didn't have much impact in the game when he did. So it confused me as well.
No, first of all, Micah had a day. I mean, you look at Micah's pressure. Micah was getting after him. The thing that bothers you is if you're Schottenheimer, you're going in that locker room going, we're not good enough on this side, and he's going, you're not getting better. And so you're having differing voices saying things because Schottenheimer knows you can't win like this. And Eberflus has got to get it fixed. The defense has got to get it fixed. You can't continue to do this week in and week out. And so when you go, oh, no, we got better because we tied with the trade that I made that nobody thought, we got by with one. It's so short-sighted, and you're creating more distraction and more problem by not being honest about the situation of we got to fix it. And one linebacker ain't fixing it, y'all.
He can't be honest.
Yeah.
Because if he's honest, he's going to say, yeah, clearly. It's like the emperor in his new clothes or the emperor's clothes, whatever.
Right.
I gave away our best defensive piece. Sorry.
Look, a lot of
Get the APP Sunday Rundown. Key takeaways from Week 4's biggest games be Dan Wilkins, September 29th, 2025 4-51 Julian Catalfo. The Score Sunday Rundown recaps the most important developments from the day's action and examines their significance moving forward. Sunday night Spotlight Packers deserved worse seats, probably strange to suggest that the Packers should feel fortunate to escape Dallas with a tie. Heading in, anything other than a convincing win would have been a disappointment. Based on the way they handled the end-of-game chaos, bleeding clock in OT before taking a shot at the end zone and somehow still having time for a game-tying kick. The 40-40 draw was far better than they deserved. Even with Micah Parsons in a juicy revenge spot, the defense was unable to take advantage of a beat-up Cowboys offensive line. The result was -0.52 EPA a play, the worst performance of Jeff Hafley's brief run as defensive coordinator and tied for the fourth worst outing from a defense so far in 2025, according to True Media. The special teams units were an adventure in this one, too. This looked like the best team in football over the first 2 weeks of the season. Perhaps it starts trending back in that direction before long, but the Packers suddenly have work to do at 2-1-1. Narratives around Dak Prescott have always reminded me of Tony Romo, a supremely talented quarterback who, for reasons largely beyond his control, never gets the respect he deserves. That's just the unfortunate reality of playing a leading role for a version of America's team that always finds a way to come up short. Maybe the Parsons trade, oddly enough, can help change that perception. The Cowboys' defense is predictably awful without its former superstar pass rusher. Anyone who watched Sunday night's matchup understands that Prescott is the reason this team has a chance to win games anyway. The veteran quarterback was playing out of his mind in this particular contest, completing 31 of 40 passes for 319 yards and 3 touchdowns. His wild heave to Jalen Tolbert in overtime is the second most improbable completion of the next-gen stats era. The Cowboys have no business being in the playoffs this year. If they somehow make it happen, it better come with some legitimate MVP love for Prescott. Late afternoon games. Ravens in trouble. I wasn't planning to be overly concerned about whichever team fell to 1-3 after Sunday's heavyweight matchup between the Chiefs and Ravens. I would have stuck to it if Baltimore was even remotely competitive, but I'm not going to be preaching patience anymore. The 37-20 final doesn't even begin to tell the story of how this one went for Baltimore. Lamar Jackson coughed up a pair of crucial turnovers. The offense was oddly eager to abandon a Derrick Henry-led run game, and the defense continues to look like a shell of the dominant group we saw over the second half of last season. That unit currently ranks 30th in EPA a play. The Ravens still have as much talent as any roster in football, but the injuries are really starting to pile up. Jackson, Ronnie Stanley, Roquan Smith, Marlon Humphrey, and Nate Wiggins all left this week's game with injuries. Jackson, alone, missing any time with his hamstring injury could be enough to dig a hole that's too big to get out of this year. A silver lining: the Colts couldn't close out a win over the Rams, but that shouldn't have much impact on the way we look at this team moving forward. Being in position to beat a Super Bowl contender like this should be taken as a sign that everything else we've seen over the first month of the season is no mirage. Indy might have run away with this one were it not for A.D. Mitchell fumbling away a long touchdown at the goal line and committing a back-breaking holding call to wipe out Jonathan Taylor's go-ahead score. Daniel Jones, no matter what doubts we may hold about his true upside, is proving to be a steadying presence at the controls of Shane Steichen's offense. And the defense has had some great moments in the early days under Lou Anarumo. The Colts are going to be a tough matchup for pretty much anyone they face. We are only 4 games into the season, so it's probably a little early to start monitoring records. But another monster game from Puka Nacua creates a special situation worth your attention. The Rams superstar is already up to 42 catches for 503 yards on the year, putting him on a 17-game pace of 178 catches and 2,137 yards. That unfathomable stat line would shatter both single-season records. Michael Thomas owns the all-time receptions mark at 149, while Calvin Johnson still has the best yardage total at 1,964. The arrival of Devontae Adams might cap Nacua's touchdown potential, irritating fantasy football managers in the process, but the volume he sees everywhere else on the field remains sky-high. And why wouldn't it? There might not be a more dominant receiver in the game right now. Are the Jags good? Early season wins over the Panthers and Texans weren't enough to ease concerns I had about the Jaguars heading in. A road win over the undefeated 49ers, though. Now we are talking. While I'd still like to see more from Trevor Lawrence, Liam Cohen quickly has this offense moving in the right direction no matter what he gets from his quarterback. The run game, in particular, has been a meaningful upgrade over what we saw from this group last year. And the defense has been even better. A new system appears to have unlocked a group that finished last season ranked 31st in EPA at play. 4 games into this new era, the Jacksonville defense is tied for second by that same metric point 49ers, missing Bosa. The 49ers might need to make a trade if this defense is going to survive without Nick Bosa. The pass rush was virtually non-existent against the Jaguars, as San Francisco was held without a single sack or QB hit. Unfortunately for the 49ers, it might be a while before certain teams are willing to accept their fates as deadline sellers. Robert Saleh is going to have to get creative when it comes to cooking up pressure in upcoming games against the Rams and Bucks. A 3-0 start could disappear in a hurry without meaningful improvement in that all-important area of the game.